so I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
I started already.
That's all right. The only reason
I started already too. All right.
go.
Well, hey, it is around St. Patrick's Day at the Brewery Underground podcast. We're gonna celebrate in St. Patrick's Day style today, and Steve and Scott are here with our good friends Chris Finen and Michael Stokes. And guys, cheers! Is that what we say on St. Patrick's Day? Or what else do we say?
Oh man, I didn't know there was going to be homework. I didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot to study.
Huzzah!
I don't know.
I mean, for Oktoberfest, I know pros, but I don't know. We'll go with cheers.
We'll go with cheers.
We'll go with cheers.
Yeah.
We'll go
I'm
with
glad
cheers.
you said so. I've been waiting to open this because of the effect. So I got a Guinness here, appropriately enough.
Nice.
Oh yes.
Did you open yours already, Steve?
Yeah.
All right. So these have got those little widgets on the top of the can that holds that nitro, and I learned that in the last couple of days too. That's called a widget.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! There it goes. Look, there it goes.
Look at the Guinness.
Do you have to pour it? You know how to pour it. You do what, 2/3, and you have to let it sit.
Yep.
You do the same with a can like that?
I don't think it works the same. Although, look, probably pretty close. Look.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have a fun fact for later about how long it takes to pour the perfect Guinness.
Can't wait to hear it.
Is there an exact number?
Yeah, they have an exact number.
Okay.
And they call this cascading, I believe.
Right.
Scott texted me last night because he said, "You drinking a Guinness?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "When's the last time you had one?" I'm like, "No, I had one at a yard house a few years ago just for the hell of it because I hadn't had one in a long time. I mean, the first time it's amazing that I can actually remember that I had a Guinness was like over 20 years ago. And so at that time, I thought it tasted horrible. And now I'm going, now it's not good enough for me. Apparently, I've become too much of a craft beer snob.
Well, it's funny when I texted him. I go, I had to buy 4. I didn't have 4 last year. How did I have 4 in the last 2 years since I've come back from Ireland?
That's right. So yeah, Scott learned all these fun facts of Guinness and how to do Irish dancing at the brewery.
That's the only thing I didn't follow up on was the dancing since I've been back.
He's going to do that later too. He's going to do his Irish dancing jig demonstration.
Hey, it is amazing though that I remember where I ever got my first Guinness, and it was here in Nashville. It was at the Flying Saucer, and that's been at least 25 years ago. I guess back in those days when you had 200 beers on tap and feeling kind of fancy, so I'll get myself a Guinness.
Right.
And I can't say I liked it all that much, but oh well.
Yeah, it's got its place, I guess. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I missed the Flying
R.I.P.
Saucer.
to Flying Saucer.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
This is good. Finn, did I see you sipping on a Bud Light, or was that something else?
No. This is
it's Irish Light.
Schlafly black IPA.
Ooh.
All right.
So yeah, not Irish.
Okay.
But straight out of St. Louis. So there you go. The Irish Catholic part of St. Louis, I guess.
Stokes, what you got? I haven't seen you open anything yet.
I got a Three Floyds Return of the Ancients Irish Red.
Whoa! Look at that.
Nice.
Had it before. It's always solid.
Yeah. They didn't have any fruited Irish beers out there that you could find.
I couldn't find the Cloverfield strawberry banana pound cake.
Damn it.
I think Steve will probably get to it shortly, but he had some stuff recently up there at Listerman that he's probably going to talk about that is pretty close to some of that, I think.
Yeah, some really good stuff that that we'll get into. So when we put some video out, I'll be the only one that had kind of been propped today. So I've got the green beads, I got a green shirt on, and I got something I'm only going to wear once. Only once. You guys can't make fun of me on this because...
No, we're not going to make fun.
So this is a hat that this is a St. Patrick's Day hat that belonged to my dad. that I had inherited over the years. I've never worn it anywhere because, quite frankly, it doesn't even fit my head. And I don't even know the origin of it. I asked my mom recently. I asked my sister, and they're like, I don't know. It's been, it was in the family for decades, and I couldn't even find like inside the hat, like, um, who made this hat or anything like that. I've kind of Googled it. So, in honor of my dad, Jerry Sullivan, happy St. Patrick's Day. Here we go. You guys ready for this?
Yes, yes.
Nice.
He puts it on over the headphones. It's
It fits over his headphones.
Right
so,
over
yeah.
the
It's not gonna hit my headphones.
Come on, wait, take the headphones off and put it on.
All right, here we go. Take
Just for the, yeah. There we go.
All right, now get up and do a jig.
Yes, yes. I love it. Very festive. I like it. Very festive.
Whatever you're saying, I'll have to go back.
It looked good, man. It looked good. You got the green shirt. You got the beads to go with it.
There you go.
Good.
Yeah.
Speaking of beads, speaking of beads, while we record this, it is Mardi Gras week.
Yep.
Steve's going to throw them at you, Stokes, first.
Yeah.
And then, yes, just know when he throws it towards the camera, it's at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
For this random chick behind me.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'll keep this hat in the family. I just have never worn it ever. I've had it. It's been in my closet for a few years in a box. And when we started talking about doing this episode, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'll put the hat on.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit my head though, but
It looks the part though, man. It looks like an Irish.
It's an Irish
St. Patrick's Day hat for sure.
I just wish I knew the origin of it. But even like when I was younger, my dad used to wear it on St. Patrick's Day. So obviously it's an old hat. There you go.
Very nice. I'm glad we got to see it.
I know it. Big time excitement. Scott will be putting it out there on video somewhere. That's going to happen.
Look, when I do one of those shorts, those little shorts out there, that's getting in there. It doesn't matter what the audio sounds like. The visual's getting in there.
Well, I'm going to crack open another beer. I know I got the Guinness here, but I'm actually going to crack open. I have from Fathead's Brewery. This is the St. Fatty's Irish Red Ale.
Very nice.
And I have not had this yet. Yeah.
Fathead is a great brand.
I was lucky enough to find this a couple of days ago when I was up in Cincinnati at the Party Source, because we know they always have everything. So, yeah, cheers. There we
cheers.
go.
I had a Fathead last night. It was Pimp My Sleigh. So it's a little left over from Christmas.
Yeah.
But I had just gotten it. It was brand new. So I'm drinking it anyway.
Good deal.
Christmas?
Huh?
Left over from which Christmas?
I don't know. I didn't check the year on it. And I saw 12-ounce can. I go, no matter how bad it is, I can get through this. So it was fine.
So Scott, when you just recently, you and I both were on different trips, and ironically, we ran into some of the same people in the beer community. You were in Scott. Y'all went. Scott went to a beer festival in Louisville this past weekend when it was like 10 below zero. It was outside.
I'm not warm yet, man. We went last Saturday. It was called Tailspin. I don't know if you guys heard of that one, but it's an annual one in Louisville, and they have it out there at Bowman Field, which is at the airport. And when they said the high was 50 that day, I guess they failed to tell us that it was 50 at midnight or like 12:01, and then it just continually got colder as the day went on. It was freaking freezing out there, but we still had a good time. And they had 50 vendors or 50 breweries and 250 beers. So freezing, I tell you, it was sucked. But man, it's funny, they had like for entertainment, you could walk around and they had like a wrestling ring was set up out there in the middle of the field as well. People were out there wrestling, live music. I'm sure there were quick matches.
Yeah, I bet.
And they were wearing their regular wrestling clothes, like a dude out there in his trunks, and that was it, And it's like, oh wow, you guys are crazy. But really cool festival. I just wish it were 20 degrees warmer. Would have been that much better. But and they give you these stainless steel cups, not glass or plastic, so that only made it a little warm. It made your hands a little bit colder.
Yeah, right.
It's worth the trip though, man. They were like $60 for the ticket, so it wasn't bad at all. And shit, yeah, again, they had some live music, bunch of vendors. I missed it, and I didn't realize till afterwards. They had a bourbon barrel beer bar, which I completely missed. I don't know how I missed that, but that would have warmed
Any
you up.
breweries up there you hadn't had before? Some interesting stuff you stumbled on.
Yeah, there were a couple from Louisville, Ari, which is another brewery I went to afterwards. But yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. I have to look them up, but yeah, a lot of them. Three Floyds was there. Had a couple of theirs that I hadn't had before. Recognized this is their backyard, being that they're in Indiana.
Yeah.
Just wandered around, found all sorts of stuff. It's just, man, as cold as it was, turnout was still fantastic. I mean, there was, thousands of people still there. And I think when you get one of the first beer fests of the season, people are just going to flock to it anyway. So.
Now, was it colder than Winter Warmer that you and Stokes went to?
I promise, by a lot.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, at least that one they kind of prepare you. Like you're going in knowing that it's winter and it's probably going to be cold.
Yeah, like Stokes, I don't remember leaving there, my hands ever being numb. But no, like they were sticky from the glass because everything was barrel aged 14% beers.
Then again, it very well could have been 4 degrees, but the beer we were drinking was 10+%. So who knew?
Yeah, we were.
Nobody noticed.
No, we were walking infernos, just walking around.
It was cold.
Yeah. We had one year when it was out there and it was like misting and cold, but they had, I don't know, just felt it was nowhere near as cold as this thing I just went on. Ridiculous. So anyway, that was cool. And then after that, we ended up that night because we wanted to get the hell out of there and get some warmth. We ended up going to 3 different breweries up there. So we met the Hill Tappers who out of Louisville, and they took us to, I don't know if I'm saying that, Ari, AWRY. You guys heard of that one?
No.
That's in Louisville. And then Mile Wide Beer Company. You probably heard of them. Yeah. And then Gravely. And Mile Wide and Gravely are actually, we could walk from one to the other that close. And those are kind of the breweries that they go to when they're there. And they were freaking awesome. I love Mile Wide of the 3. I mean, they had a beer there. It was called, and this might remind you of another brand that I talk about all the time, the Savior of the Broken, the Beaten, and the Damned. Who does that sound like? It does.
Yeah, burial written all over it, doesn't it?
It does. And the beer was kind of the same way, like a double dry hop, imperial. It was fantastic. So that was pretty damn awesome. And then, at the end of the night, so we did all that. And then at the end of the night, and you guys are familiar with this, after a bourbon trip, we go back and, you get hungry. So we get the 50-pack of White Castle.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. There were 5 left.
Yeah. Did you wake up and they were by you in the bed?
Not me. But I slept with one eye open because I know how that shit works.
Oh my God.
So, but anyway, that was.
Yeah, I've been to Gravely. Gravely's cool. Yeah. I've been there. I stopped there when I was on a work trip, but I didn't get to hit Mile Wide because Mile Wide wasn't open till like 4 or something that day. But Gravely's got a cool vibe. They got a cool vibe inside. It's like all music themed and whatnot, but super cool place.
Yeah, they got a wall, Chris. I'll send you a picture. I think it's got like nothing but drum heads all across the wall or something like that. That's really cool. And is it the same one that's got all the gangsters pictures on the wall too? I think that was them.
I think that was them.
Yeah, like all their mug shots. It wasn't no one's gays. It was a bunch of mug shots of celebrities and stuff.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what
hilarious.
It was.
Yeah, the whole wall was just hundreds of them, just hundreds. Funny. So that's kind of my weekend, and all that happened on Saturday, but then I came right back Sunday, and Steve ventured out a little bit more than I did.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Cincinnati for like 3 days and ended up going to a couple of places. Westside Brewing up there. I don't know. Stokes, have you been in Westside up there yet? Westside Brewing?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's a cool place. Now they recently took over another place called Gilligan's Brewery, and so I went to Westside Brewing and then I went to Gilligan's, and basically I had there were a couple at the Westside that they had some Irish beers. One of them was a red ale that I really liked and I thought was good, but the other one I gotta tell you, there was they had this Irish style porter. And for me, it was just kind of mediocre. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about Irish porters, if you can even have any recollection of what you've had and over time.
Yeah,
I
I
was just
can't.
kind of like,
I'm not. I couldn't put my finger on one I've ever had.
yeah, yeah. I don't think I'd had one before, and I was like, yeah, this just really isn't. This ain't doing too much for me. But I ended up going I went to a beer festival too, and it was outdoors. So it's Cincinnati. It's outdoors. It's probably 35 degrees outside, and ended up going with our Cincinnati correspondent Liz, who's been on here before. So they had about 20 breweries that are represented up there, and I think the only brewery that I checked in one was a place called Wandering Monsters, and I just
Did you wander in there?
I just wandered on over,
Nice.
yeah, and got a farmhouse ale called the Bossy, which was pretty good. But we ended up there's another guy that Scott and I know. We're trying to get him on the podcast one of these days. It's from Bad Tom Smith Brewing up there, and ran into Evan, their head brewer. So he was pretty cool, and so that was a lot of fun. It was just I think we hung out for about 2 hours because it's like, you know what, it's too damn cold to be standing outside.
You were in a heat wave compared to what I was in.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was bad enough for wintertime up in Ohio. So yeah. But no, I mean, some of the cool beers that, as far as Irish are concerned, that I checked in was I wanted to get to Listerman because I know Stokes, you've been to Listerman. I know you like Listerman, and Scott and I have been there a few times, and so they had a couple of Irish beers on tap. One of them was called the Pot of Gold Shamrock Shake, which was 7% stout, and man, I love that thing. I rated it a 4 on Untappd, and I thought it was really good.
I just think on like Irish beers, like you were saying porter. I look at red ales and stouts are all you ever see.
Yeah.
I don't. That's wild. I don't really see a whole lot of anything else.
If you look even through Untappd, those are really the only 2 categories.
Yep.
For Irish beers. Matter of fact, before we move on, I'm taking a page out of Noah's book, and I'm double fisting because that Guinness is not my favorite. So
He's not doing it for you.
No way.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
So the Highwire, I'm saving this too. The Highwire Irish Cream 10W40. And when Steve mentioned this episode, he said we got to get some Irish beers. This was the first one I grabbed.
I was like, I've had it, but I was like, I'm gonna get it. That's funny.
How is it? Pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't opened it, but it says Imperial Stout brew with coffee, vanilla, and lactose. Product of the USA, sweet and creamy.
Okay.
No fruits.
No fruits.
Sorry, Steve.
I feel like Chris, like Steve mentioned, he had a Shamrock Shake stout. I mean, you need a Shamrock Shake sour.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, the other ones that I had 2 others there because they had, when I saw that they had 3 different varieties, I thought I got to get the Listerman. And they had a Irish cream stout. And the one that I really liked the most that I thought was kind of unique and probably maybe the most unique Irish style beer I've ever had, it was called the Mint Shamrock Shake, a mint Irish cream. And it was really good. I mean, if you like mint, it almost kind of like tasting, if you're tasting like a Girl Scout cookie, so to speak, and maybe that's kind of like the theme that they were going for. So I kind of felt like it tasted a little bit like that, but it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't like really annoying. Like I got to put this thing down. I had it on a flight, which probably helped, but I think even if I would have had it on a pint, I probably would have drank the whole thing. I thought it was pretty good.
I would think that would be right in Listerman's wheelhouse too.
Yeah.
Kind of the stuff they do.
Yeah, and I rated that. That was my highest ranking of any Irish beer I've had over maybe like the last week or two, and I ranked that as a 4.25 on Untappd. And I was looking today, and I'm like, if we did some rankings already, I know we're only in March, of some of my top-rated beers of the year. That's already right up there.
That will probably be there towards the end too, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that was a lot of what I did up there, and went back to this Gilligan's Brewery. Now I've had in the past week or two, I've had 2 Gilligan's Brewery, they had a dry Irish stout that I had, and I also went to Mill Creek and had their Irish dry stout. I got to tell you, both of them were just average for me. And I think maybe both of you guys or all three of you guys have had the Irish dry stout from Mill Creek, but I know Scott, you have. I just didn't think much of it. I was like, it's kind of mediocre, and maybe it's just a style.
I mean, dry stouts are great I love dry stouts typically,
Yeah.
but I think I agree with you on the Mill Creek one. So.
Yeah, one of the I'm definitely a huge fan of the dry stout, the Irish dry stout, and you guys might remember we had one at Manitou when we were in Colorado for Great American Beer Fest. They had a Mountain Shadow dry Irish nitro stout that was really, really good. And the only thing I rated higher than that, well, as far as Irish dry stouts, is the Beamish.
Yeah.
And that was because we were in the motherland. I think, we were there when we had it. And, just that was probably the first dry Irish stout I had in maybe ever, but in quite some time anyway. And, man, it was good. And I know Scott and I have searched high and low. You can't get it in the U.S. There's not a way. I think it's actually a Heineken product now. Like, I think it's from one of the giant distilleries, but it was quite good. And just different, a lot more complex, I think, than a Guinness. It just had a lot more going, a lot more roasty flavor to it. So really like that. Wish we could find it around here.
I know. I for a year after we got back from Ireland, I hunted that shit high and low, and it boiled down to you needed a mule, just somebody coming back and forth to bring it to you. There was just no way to get it.
Well, and I think some of it, we were probably affected by the surroundings and the situation, being over there and having a great time, sitting at a great little pub, a roaring donkey. Yeah.
But then you guys
also here, we probably wouldn't like it as much.
And didn't you guys also say like Guinness over there tastes a lot different than around here than it does over here, though?
I think it is. I think there's a freshness thing.
It is
there, and who knows what preservatives get put in, to bring it over here and those kind of things. But I've never researched to see is the formula different, but it definitely seemed to taste a lot better over there.
2 nights ago, I went down a rabbit hole on the whole Guinness in Ireland versus the U.S. Every drop of the original Guinness, the original draft, is made in Ireland. There are plants here, but they don't make that here. It's the exact same formula, apparently, same recipe, and it gets pasteurized here, but it also gets pasteurized there as well. So people talk about the pasteurization when it gets here. I think it just boils down to freshness, and
well, and the water's different too, right? I mean, they're not importing the water, so we all know
they're making it over there.
Like 100% is made there. There's none that's made
of the original Guinness, not the variants, because there are variants of it, but the original Guinness is only made there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there are 2 plants in the U.S. Maryland's got one, and Chicago's got one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's aged then. Yeah, I bet you're right.
Yeah, it's less around. That just seemed to be the consensus overall. But anyway, see.
Did you guys run into any? I think you did, because I remember Scott sending a picture of, now my last name is Sullivan. Over there, it's the O'Sullivan, but there's still Sullivan over there. And, you guys have all seen this locally too, but it's made in Ireland. Hey.
All right.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I've drank this before, but I've kept the can, obviously, and the Sullivan. But no, I was looking, like today on my Untapped app of how many of the of those that I've had, and I've had like 3 different ones. Of course, I've had the Maltings Irish Ale and the Black Marble, and the Irish, dry stout. So, I thought they were all good, when I've had them. Do you guys remember having any of those when you were over there?
I don't remember seeing Sullivan. I feel like we would have taken note of that and took a picture and send it back your way.
I'll tell you what I did.
I think Scott had sent a picture of a truck that said Sullivan's on it or something.
It was a delivery truck, and it might have even said O'Sullivan's on it or something. I think that one was,
I think it was O'Sullivan's bail bonds or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
They transitioned businesses over the years.
That's it. They're diversified. It's a diversified conglomerate.
Well, they got the corner, the market corner, right? You get them drunk, and then you got to bail them out for being drunk.
Bail them out. That's right. It goes hand in hand. Very vertically integrated. Yeah, that company.
Well, I think we actually traced our family roots years ago to where, basically when the Sullivans migrated, at least on my side of the family, migrated to whether it was like around Ohio. I can't remember the exact location, but kind of traced it back to when whoever first came here way back in the day, it would have been O'Sullivan, and then changed it to, Sullivan. So, technically, I'm an O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan.
Oh, yeah. Sullivan.
Steve O'Sullivan. I put my hat back on here.
so this
I'll never live that one down.
So this is funny. I looked up on Untappd, just Irish under beers I've had. It's 31 red ales, 29 stouts. So just like I said, it's all stouts and red ales. But funny enough, they're all between. I've rated them all a 3 to a 3.75, and I'll probably get my beer drinker's card revoked for this. But tied for the lowest on here at a 3 is a Guinness.
Yeah.
but to my defense, it's been 5 or 6 years, and you know, I could appreciate one a little more now. So maybe it's different, but it is funny. Like one of the lowest Irish beers I've ever chugged in is a Guinness. What most people see as like the pinnacle of straight up good Irish beer.
The most popular one too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to sit there and go. I'm trying to appreciate this Guinness more than this Fatheads that I'm drinking. And the Fatheads I'll take. And like even yesterday, I had the Southern Tier Irish Cream Milk Stout, and I like that one. There was either Stokes or Scott. You had rated that. I rated it at 4 on Untappd, and I thought it was a nice balance. I didn't think it was overly sweet. I think one of you rated it maybe a little bit lower than I did, but I liked it though.
I saw that I had it, but it was like 4 or 5 years ago, so I probably would give it a better rating now than I did then.
Yeah, and the only other ones that I've had around here lately that that are Irish related was Tailgate's Cooler Nights Red Irish Ale. I had that recently, and then not too long ago I had Half Batch has a really good one, the Downpatrick Irish Red.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys had that one?
That's a good one.
I look at mine, and it's got. I mean, you and I've talked about this before. My top 2 are red ales. If I look at just Irish beers, it's the Black Abbey Irish Red, and then the Crazy Gnome Red Hat, which they released pretty sure when they opened 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. And Scott, you and I've talked about it. I love red ales. It's hard to find them. I feel like especially in bottles and cans, but even draft, like nowhere around here. I mean, Black Abbey does a decent job, but I'm trying to just think how many times do you walk into any brewery in Middle Tennessee and you're like, oh, there's even one red ale, let alone 2 or 3, but there may be 5 you could list and go in today, and you're going to find one on the shelf or on the list.
Yeah, and probably more apt this time of year, right? Just because it's St. Patrick's Day and stuff. Speaking of which, we were just at Marble Fox, a week and change ago, and they had an Irish red ale.
Crack in the glass.
The crack in the glass.
How was it? Pretty good.
CRAIC. Mm-hmm.
It was delicious.
Yeah. And I've been meaning to get down there for about a week to get it, and I finally got down there real quick, and we ended up having a couple of them. But that was a good one. That's high on my list for this year.
So I actually have on my list one of the rare 5s that I put for ratings from a small little upstart brewery out of Nashville called Yeast Infection Brew Works.
I saw that.
I saw that. The carpet matches the drapes. Irish Red Ale is primo, brewed by our own Scott Turon. It is a perfect score.
Yep.
Actually, very, very good. All kidding aside, it's very, very good.
Believe it or not.
Funny you mentioned that, though. Funny he mentions that like a local home brewer. So I didn't mention it yet, but my 4th or 5th highest one on here, Scott, I've talked to you about this, is my buddy. He home brews and used to home brew up in like Columbus. But speaking of carpets matching the drape and yeast infection, his his brewery home name is Jack Mehoff's. So that's there's a little trend there going, but his Irish dry stout is like my fourth highest dry stout I've ever checked in.
See,
There you go for creativity there.
You just come up with a good brewery name, and you immediately make a good Irish beer.
That's half right there. Before you even taste it, you're getting a good rating.
Stokes, you mentioned the Red Hat Ale from Crazy Gnome. I just had that about a month ago, and by the time this podcast drops, we had Grayson on, and I'm pretty sure because they're getting food there now, and I asked him about food pairings with some beers, and I'm pretty sure that I asked him, and I don't have it on the top of my head, but I asked him like, what would be a good food pairing for the for that beer for the Red Hat Ale? So you'll have to tune in and find out what's a good food pairing for it once that comes out again.
Nice.
And by the way, that episode comes out tomorrow. At that time, we did not know who his food partner was going to be at the new brewery. It's Fab Pizza. They put it out today on social media. So
pizza and beer.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
got a whole Italian
can't
theme.
go wrong.
So yeah. So he hinted at who it was, or at least he hinted at the style of food it was going to be, but he couldn't tell us who it was at the time. So
interestingly enough, I mean, where he's going, it's pizza and beer mecca of Nashville, right? You got Tailgate around the corner, and you got Smith and Lentz down the road, and he's out there. So everybody's pizza and beer. I mean,
yeah,
nothing wrong with it. I love good pizza and beer. So.
And I don't know anything about Fab, so I'm sure they're good. If he's going to put them in there, you know it's going to be good.
Hey, do you guys think that when you look on Untappd and you see what they rank for different styles of beers, do you think there are breweries that try to market like a red IPA as an Irish beer and it's not really? What do you guys think about that?
Probably. It's probably like people that just put dye and stuff in a beer, make it green.
Yeah.
It's like this is not an Irish beer because it's green. It's Bud Light, but it's green.
Yeah, and thinking about red ales in general, when I was going through Untappd, I'd actually have to remind myself I was looking for Irish red ales and not just red ales, because they're almost synonymous in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just
Well,
think
that
about
was one of my questions when we started, talking about doing this podcast to Scott. I said, because if you're looking at Untappd, it gets kind of confusing there. Going, okay, what exactly is a red ale or anything Irish or anything red is actually considered? And are there's breweries and other trying to market that as an Irish beer when it really is not?
Yeah, I kind of think of them as the same, but like you said, they're really not. Like a Killian's is an Irish style beer. I think it even says Killian's Irish Red on.
It's even like this 10W40 Irish cream that we're drinking. Which what do you think about it, Scott? Before I go into that,
it's creamy. It's sweet.
It's creamy.
But is it Irish creamy?
I think no. I think it says Irish cream at the tops. Maybe they put some kind of Irish cream in it, like a Bailey's or something.
So I'm not a big coffee guy, but this is fairly good. I think the creaminess of it makes it bearable, tolerable for me. But to the point that we were just making, is it an Irish beer? Probably not. It just uses Irish cream. I would not call this a Irish stout per se. It's a stout that uses Irish cream. So
right, and they got Irish on there somewhere.
Yeah, and they'll sell the mess out of it over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, here's one in Stokes. I don't know if you've had this one yet. Even more Irish Jesus.
It's in my fridge. I bought it for this. I bought it with this one for the podcast. That's hilarious.
So it's from Evil Twin. I've not opened it yet. It's in my bag. Even more Irish Jesus, and it says dry stout. And the only indication that you got that's anything Irish is it just says Irish Jesus on it. So I don't know.
Where'd you get that?
Main Street had it.
Main Street?
Yeah. They had them in singles too. So, but yeah, you'd look for something with the word Irish on it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do at various places. Even this time of year, it's still few and far between. I mean, you might find. I mean, what you probably went in there searching, Scott. How many did you find? 6? Did you get 6?
No, I found those two, and then at the time they still had a bunch of Guinness. Well, they still have a bunch of Guinness, which I didn't grab any at that time. But there weren't many others. I mean, maybe a Murphy's. Do I remember seeing maybe a Murphy's in there or something, or some other brand? But that was about it. But which I had before.
It makes you wonder, like somewhere like Chicago or something or New York or somewhere that really dives heavy into St. Patrick's Day. Like I wonder if you walk into a single store there, how many you're going to find? Is it still fairly slim, or is it 20?
Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah, like I was at when I was at Party Source on Monday. I think I may have seen 5 or 6 different variations, and a couple of them I already had, and then the ones that I just talked about, I brought back.
But even the ones that like, I don't feel like this Irish Cream 10W40 is only a this time of year thing. I think they do this fairly long, and even like the Mill Creeks and the Black Abbeys, I think they do it all year. I don't see, at least on a local level, I don't think they're bringing it out for March. I think it's just let's advertise it in March, but we're gonna keep it all year as an option.
Yeah, I do feel like I see that Mill Creek out there a lot.
Yeah,
if not all the time. You guys want to hear a fun fact about Guinness?
Sure.
I've got a couple. I got a couple. We'll go back and forth between them. So I mentioned about how long it takes to pour one perfectly. And I'm assuming just draft. That can probably didn't count. 119 seconds.
119, just under 2 minutes.
And it was
that doesn't seem right.
So if I do it in 120
like
seconds, what's wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong?
I don't know. You got to start drinking it. You haven't started drinking. You got to start drinking it.
And who made that determination originally? By the way,
somebody in Ireland, I'm sure.
Okay.
Like,
Saint Patrick.
St. Patrick. He's the one that came up with it.
It's got too many bubbles.
Yep. Well,
it was one of my great grand ancestors, O'Sullivan, Horace O'Sullivan in Ireland.
Going down this rabbit hole the other day, they've got this new product out, and I don't think it's in the U.S. yet. And it's called they call it the Penguin as a nickname, but anyway, it's this little electronic draft thing that pops at the top of the can. But it's got to be a certain size can to fit the thing, a certain size, and it creates a draft system. It's supposed to help make the Guinness even more creamier and stuff when you pour it into your glass. It's gimmicky.
Scott, that reminds me of at like sporting events, the ones that they fill up the cup from the bottom with the little magnet at the bottom.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, there's somebody in this group that decided to poke said magnet in the bottom of their cup when they first came out. So
yeah.
Spilly.
Well, you think if you poked it that it would just go right back down. It does not. Even though it's magnetized, there's a bit of a gap or something that it doesn't settle right back again.
It needs to come with a warning or something.
It's because there's lots of ounces of beer rushing out, keeping it from
physics. It's just physics.
You're just sitting around there and your fingers are feeling around the bottom of the cup, and you think, what happens if I push this? It ends up in your lap.
Hey, I do want to say, after this is over, I got a couple of extra cans of Guinness. If anybody wants them, I could share.
I'm good and stocked up.
Yeah, getting stocked up.
I'm good and stocked up.
I'm probably not going to keep them around till next St. Patrick's Day, though. I don't think they would. I don't think they would be good for a year.
Well, Steve's not a Guinness fan, huh?
Oh, it's all right. I think I'm just becoming too much of a craft beer snob of like, all right, give me something a little more flavor, a little more oomph to it.
There's better stuff out there for sure.
Yeah.
One thing I look at is Guinness is a stout, obviously, and St. Patrick's Day isn't stout season in my mind. Like, we're getting into spring, especially here. I mean, albeit right now it's 37 degrees outside in Middle Tennessee, but it was also 80 a couple days ago. So Guinness are good, but I don't want it when it's 75, 80 degrees. I want it in the fall.
Yeah.
Can we just move St. Patrick's Day to like October? Let's mix Oktoberfest and St. Patrick's Day.
Imagine.
That'd be great.
People would never come back from wherever they went. They would just never come back ever. You never see them again.
I mean, but speaking of that, like Oktoberfest is kind of known for really good beer and special beer. Is St. Patty's Day known for that? It's just known for beer and green beer and lots of it.
Drinking
like high volume. Yeah.
Because of the Irish thing, I think, is ultimately it.
Yeah.
Beer drinkers and
right. There's no special beers that come out other than they dye them green, right? But I mean, they're not doing annual once a year or something that's special for St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, I feel like they did that back in the day with, before the craft beer craze with the domestics, where it's like, hey, we got green Budweiser here at the local, sports bar. And you're like, oh, God, really? Just a little green dye in there,
Scott's still looking for that dyed green Steel Reserve.
How do you make a beer worse than it already is? Add some green food coloring to it.
It's the green Schlitz.
It'll give you the green Schlitz.
I'm saying you guys have to go after the mint shamrock shake that I had. Try to find one of those. I think
those, I'd get behind those easily.
That's a McDonald's, isn't it? Like, don't you?
Yeah.
Put some alcohol in it.
Mint just goes good with a stout or Irish cream. That's got to be that's probably the most used adjunct, I guess, for a Irish or stout, I guess.
Well, yeah, because you got your chocolate notes in there, and it mixes perfectly.
Makes your breath smell good. Don't even have to brush your teeth before you go to bed.
Well, you can have it for breakfast too because it's got mint in it.
Yeah.
Well, and I would have brought some back from Listerman for you guys, but they had sold out of those. I mean, from my understanding, like 3 or 4 days beforehand, they started selling them in the can, and they went like hot wildfire. I didn't even know if I would get it on tap when I went there, so I was like, yeah, I was gonna bring some cans back and couldn't get it. So
likely story.
Damn it! Oh yeah.
The fact that he drank it all. He's
I don't know, man. I'd be drinking that tonight.
Yeah,
but
he's not telling you he's the one who drank it all.
Yeah.
I just saw Listerman post on Facebook, half price. Got to get rid of them.
Hey, speaking of Irish and stuff, like you guys, and I got a few written down, but do any like Irish bars or Irish restaurants stand out to you guys in Nashville?
McGuire's is good.
Is it? Where's that?
No, not McGuire's. What's the name of the one in Donaldson? It's right over there by
McNamara's.
Yeah.
Right over there by
cool.
Over by Tenfold. Yeah. I'm thinking of McGuire's, the one down in Destin, but no, they're both really solid.
Well, and Chris, I know you and I have talked about this before. It goes back a number of years, but when Dan McGuinness down there,
that was awesome.
Yeah, that's where Tailgate is now, off of Music Row area. And I used to work down that area, man. We'd get out off, go down there for lunch on like a Thursday or get off work and head on down. And I love Dan McGuinness. It was always funny too, because you go in there and it was one of the few, obviously, because of an Irish sports bar. It'd be one of the few places that you would see people watching the soccer games.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. You could go. I remember going in there with friends, and maybe the Titans were playing, and there'd be a baseball game or whatever, and then they got the group over there, and they're watching the soccer game. So.
Oh yeah, you go in there at 11 o'clock in the morning or something for early lunch, and there's there's people that've been camped out there for 3 hours watching soccer because of the time difference. And,
But Scott, you remember you and I went to. We were up in Cincinnati a few years ago over in Northern Kentucky. We went to breakfast that morning. We didn't have any beer, but it was like an Irish breakfast, and it was called Molly Malone's.
Yeah.
And it's been there forever. And there were people in there. It was like, 10 o'clock in the morning, and they're in there drinking beer and watching soccer games.
Yeah, we didn't have any, but the rest of them were at that point. Yeah. You guys all know Tom Schumacher.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that will get up and go to, I think he likes the Lost Patty. I've not been in there. And they'll do that. They'll get up early in the morning, watch Premier League games or something in there at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
Where is that place? Where is Lost Patty?
The Lost Patty? Let's see what it is.
I feel like it's pretty close downtown somewhere.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure New Heights does that too. At least they used to. So
have you guys ever had an Irish car bomb? Do you know what an Irish car bomb is?
I
I'm
do.
assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever had one?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a long time for me. Because you have to chug those things.
Yeah. Do you have? Can you tell us exactly what's in it, Steve?
Yeah, it's Guinness,
Guinness.
Bailey's, and Jameson.
Yeah.
But since it is put, you put it basically the whiskey layered over the Irish cream in a shot glass, and then the shot glass is dropped into the glass of stout. I've actually had one before with Jaeger in it. I remember doing that year. Yeah.
Oh God.
That just sounds and smells and tastes like college.
Yeah, well, it was a long time ago. I mean, it's a long time ago.
Did a bunch of memories just come back to you, Stokes?
Yeah,
crossing cultures there. Yeah,
rushing over me. Oh,
just,
2-for-1 Jaeger bomb night.
I know. I just remember though years ago that I probably have only had an Irish car bomb maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, and I think the last one I had going back many years, somebody suggested Jaeger, and then we're chugging, and it's like, nah, I'm not doing this ever again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm done.
Yeah, those days are behind you.
It's just a weird. It's just like, let's drop a shot in a Guinness and it doesn't even matter what the shot is half the time.
Yeah.
It's just a shot of something.
It is weird.
It could be. I feel like Chicago is probably like a Guinness and a Malort.
Yeah.
So I always cringe when people talk about Irish car bombs, because I had a friend that worked in Lexington in an Irish bar, a very authentic Irish bar, and someone I grew up with, and she said, "Do you realize how disrespectful that is? Like, would you go into an American bar and order a 911?" And it was like a punch to the face. I was like, "Ooh, point taken."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think maybe I heard that
Okay.
once. I don't know where I heard somebody say that once, but I think
I might have mentioned that before, because every time I always cringe when people talk about it, because that's the thing. People run into an Irish bar, I'm gonna get an Irish car bomb.
Yeah.
So,
no, I remember you were saying, maybe it was you, Chris, that you were saying something like, if you walked into when you guys were in Ireland, and if you walked into a bar and you said something like, "Let's have an Irish car bomb," like,
you wouldn't come back.
Get gang tackled or something. Yeah,
I think we were well warned before we went not to order one of those anywhere.
That's what it was. That's what I remember now.
Or
I would have left Scott's ass there. I would have walked right out.
But I'm buying it for the whole place. I'm buying around. By the way, the Lost Patty is on Spence Lane, if anybody cares.
But it is just kind of weird, though, how those things kind of come up where you're going, where do all these things come from? Like, who came up with the Irish car bomb? And,
I feel like that's some kind of, American invention.
Right?
Right. We bastardized something.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Big liquor came up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, do you guys, and I don't know if I meant to check before we came on here to see if I had a bottle of Jameson. Do you guys partake in that? I don't normally, I might have one because I might have got it for St. Patrick's Day somewhere over the years.
I probably have, a bottle here somewhere at my house.
Yeah. I know when we came back from Ireland, Chris, like when I got it duty free was a Jameson, but it was some kind of triple. It was some variant of Jameson, which was really good. But
yeah,
I know that one's gone.
You just shipped a whole suitcase back with nothing but Jameson. Don't lie.
My clothes are still there. The hotel keeps asking me to come pick up my clothes, but
your boy medium clothes.
And I'll pull it if I've got some, like I'll pull it out for St. Patrick's Day. Otherwise, it's I don't really care about drinking.
I mean, Irish whiskey's fine. It's but it's it's watered down. Bourbon.
Yeah.
In my mind,
Yeah.
It's definitely lighter compared to bourbon. That's that, bourbon drinkers, the proof is higher, obviously. And when we were over there, we remember we had that what's the green spot?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's where that's made, but that was a pretty good one that we had.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. I mean, it's got good flavor, and you can have a 12-year and it looks like a 1-year bourbon, I mean, it's just, they just don't get the temperature change, so they don't get the color and all the flavor coming out like we do. But there's still some good stuff, and then they do interesting stuff because they're not using white oak barrels. They're, they'll use a wine barrel, or they use some different things, right? And so they'll get some different flavors there, which is kind of interesting way,
Yeah.
There's not as
Like
many
that.
rules governing it like there is
Yeah.
bourbon,
It's like a Colorado bourbon. Remember that, Scott?
Oh my.
Stranahan?
We were at GABF last year, and we went out to that. We're trying to go find bourbon for the condo or the Airbnb, and this liquor store was like, we're like, what do you got bourbon wise? He's like, oh, I got this Colorado bourbon. We're like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like the weather changes enough here to make that taste amazing. I'm all right.
Colorado bourbon.
He was all too happy to try to push it on us too. It was like
it never got above 75 all year.
Or it tastes like Coors Light or something.
the world famous Colorado bourbon.
With a hint of Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
Be amazing. Don't know.
Yeah.
Aged in Coors Banquet barrels or something.
But even the price point was still like $80 a bottle. It's like,
Yeah.
I can find a lot that I know I like for $80.
You're getting that local flavor there, the Colorado flavor. That's why they're charging you so much.
Didn't we end up with Eagle Rare or something in lieu of that, or
Probably.
something? We found something better.
Yeah.
Because where in Nashville are you going to get Colorado bourbon? So they figure, it's a see. They're trying to hook you in there. They're trying to hook you in there.
Don't import that shit in here. We don't need it.
If you like it, hey, you like it? Well, you'll never be able to find it. Too bad.
Yeah.
Go back home and never find it.
That's it.
And now we're doubling the price on you.
Yeah.
And so let's just go back on another tangent from another previous podcast. Oh, Tennessee has terrible liquor laws. You can't ship it to your state either.
And if we do, we're going to allocate it on one Wednesday every month.
You'll have to find a friend that goes on a work trip to Colorado.
All right,
Be like sending Carter to get High West or something.
Yeah, that's a solid one. All right, how about another Guinness fun fact? And Chris, you know the answer to this one, I bet. I know you do because we learned this at the same time. What color is Guinness?
I don't remember the answer to this. Like I forget what they've got a specific color.
Yes.
Do you want me to give the answer?
Yes, because I know you're reading it off my sheet. So you go.
I'm just saying. I know, but I'm just like, do you want me to give you the answer?
Yes.
See, I'm trying to help pivot here. Okay. It's dark ruby red in color, not black. I'm reading this from Scott's.
Oh,
the classic stout is only brewed in Ireland. Beer is not different from Ireland to the U.S. Guinness is actually pasteurized in Ireland as well as the United States.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
What I'm learning here is Guinness, red ales, Irish red ales. Everything they make is red.
The only way you can tell, like if you hold it up to the light, you don't see it through. You have to look at the bottom of the glass where the light kind of comes through, kind of like in the corner, and that's how you see it. We went to that little experience center and they taught us that. And I won't say blew my mind, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've forgotten all about that, Scott. Very interesting.
It's made your day.
Yeah. Apparently, it didn't impress Chris that much.
Have you tried that with other stouts? Do you think other stouts are red?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I should probably do that. Although I need to pour them in a glass more often because usually I'm drinking them out of the can. But that could be.
I still have a little left, so I'll try to.
Yeah, I'll find.
I'm gonna do that experimenting later, and maybe get a flashlight up to it. And I'm actually seeing some red here. Is it as red as the background? My Cincinnati Reds ball.
I don't see anything through this can.
Yeah.
The lighting of your house sucks.
Yeah. What's going on here?
You know that there are antioxidants compounds in Guinness, so it makes it healthy.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
They should put that all over the bottle and can.
That's exactly. Don't they do that? Speaking of Jaeger, don't they do that with Jaeger?
Probably. I can't tell you last time I purchased a bottle of Jaeger. So I have no idea.
No. It doesn't have some medicinal kind of stuff in it. I don't know. I'm not drinking it.
Way back in the day when I was younger, and now I'm a little older. And by the way, thanks guys for the birthday greetings. Jaeger was one of my go-to shots. but it's been a long time.
Did you notice that?
You can tell that Stokes is the youngest among us because he talked about Jaeger bombs, which that was not a thing growing up, right? We did shots of Jaeger. There was no Red Bull. That didn't exist. So the young one has dated himself there.
It's funny because like me and you guys know my buddy Jordan. Like we lived in this dorm on campus at Tech, and across the street was Spanky's Bar, and I think it was Tuesday was 2-for-1 Jaeger bombs. So we'd be over there till God knows how late. Rough time.
I'll tell you, I look back and I go, why did I like Jaeger so much back in the day? You know.
That's why you have to shoot it.
You just mentioned the word Jaeger around my wife, and she like wants to throw up.
She's like, it's got one of those.
She's like, it tastes just like
story and a Jaeger story. That tastes like that way.
Tastes like she's like, it just smells and tastes like a frat basement or something.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there was that happened to me many years ago. Again, many years ago when I was doing like Jack and Coke when we were dumb. We used to do Jack and Coke, and then let's do some Jaeger on the side. Like, no. You're feeling that in the morning, so not a good thing.
I think when you say you're doing Jack and Coke, it sounds like something different than drinking Jack and Coke.
Drinking Jack and Coke. Thank you for the clarification there, Mr. Finen. Not doing.
Who's Jack?
Who's to say? In the 80s, he was a wild man.
Yeah. For the record, I never did Jack and Coke.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. Thank you. For the record. Yeah, thank you.
This joke is a little late now, but I'm going to stick with it. That bar, Stokes just mentioned, Spanky's. The only reason he'd go in there because he thought it said "spank me," so that's why it became his favorite place.
That's where I wore my assless chaps.
I couldn't let it go. Oh shit! How's that? I saw you open that Irish Jesus or whatever.
Not bad. I've had it before. It's
you have
solid. I'm always not knocking Evil Twin. I always feel like their stuff's always fair, not amazing. Doesn't knock my socks off, but this one's good. I mean, it's not bad.
I agree. Like I think they're fine. Nothing stands out to me from them. So I'm sure I've had several.
I give them credit. They distribute the hell out of Nashville. I mean, you find it everywhere. All their stuff. It's all over the place.
All right. Nice call there.
Yeah, I was kind of looking. We had another subject. Or we're just
got anything else there, Scott?
Well, I do towards the end. Oh, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You guys, and this is kind of off the subject, but Stokes, have you seen this on Untapped today? The community awards.
Mm-mm.
So you guys check this out when you get a chance. And it's like the 2024 community awards, and what they did is they broke down what like the highest rated stuff in the U.S. and then you can filter it between different states. And if you look at Tennessee, I just found this interesting. I didn't do a deep dive or anything, but Tennessee, if you look at the top 10, 6 of them are Zools, including the top 4, and the top 3 of the Zools are all Stouts.
Wow! I'll be honest. I mean, I don't know how many Stouts. Zool doesn't release many Stouts in cans here, so I don't know how many you guys have had, but their Stouts are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I mean, these things are rated. I didn't write it down, but I think they're starting in like the 4.6 overall rating or something. And if you're looking it up, Stokes, it's.
Well, I had that the collab that we all got together at Southern Grist a few weeks ago of them, and it was really good. Yeah.
Funny you mentioned it. I'm just scrolling through here, and like Scott said, I mean, there's Zool. It's Southern Grist.
Yeah.
Living Waters.
Mm-hmm.
Marble Fox. I mean, there's 37 pages of this, but that's those are all award winners: gold, silver, bronze. But Zool makes it great, and that top one is the one that got gold, or one of the ones that got gold is that XKS 9. That whole XKS Stout series it's all delicious. I mean, they make some dang good sours, and like every time I go out there, like they have these things like sign up. This is like Grist or someone here, like get their their membership program. It's like, do I know somebody out here that if I join this membership program will bring me my Zools? Like, I want them. I want all of their stouts. But if it was in Nashville, yeah, it's a no-brainer. But
yeah,
it's a little tougher.
Yeah, they might ship them to you.
I don't know. Tennessee's got them laws, man. You can't ship beer and bourbon.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's different if you ship intrastate like that within the state. Everything I've ever tried to order has always been out of state. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because the thing that blew my mind, if you'd said, which Zool do you think is in the top 3? I'd have picked the mixtape, at least for one of them, but it's not, you don't even get to mixtape until number 4. And that's the blackberry. And then like 5, like 7 is like the regular mix, and 8. So, I mean, they're all stouts over the top 10.
Their stouts are amazing. And anybody that, I mean, I could be a spokesperson for Zool, I guess, but their stouts are just another level. And my fridge has got 12 Southern Grist Batch 1 theories in it. I love Southern Grist stouts. They definitely do stouts right, but Zool I would put Zool every bit up there with Southern Grist as far as just a good stout. I don't know if you saw today, Grist put a post up about a new. I don't think it was Grist. It was in the Beer Geeks page, but there's a new stout. It was a collab with Grist, and I think the guy from Southern Collective.
Oh wow!
It's called like fur animals, fur something. But it's those two teams getting together. It's gonna be good. It's like toasted marshmallows, almonds. Yeah.
Oh.
Me and Zach got one. That's coming.
Is it part of that LFG thing?
No, it's just a Southern Collective did a. Which, if you ever talk to, I'm gonna forget his name, the guy at Grist. You ever talk to him? But he'll tell you anybody can do a collab. It's just got the money, got the idea, whatever you want to do, and Southern Collective's doing one, and I would trust Southern Collective and Grist with my heart, I guess. But they're gonna make something that's gonna be, they're gonna make something that's gonna be good. So
you put those two together, something good's gonna come out of it.
Yeah,
you're gonna make a good little baby right there, a little beer baby or whatever.
Little beer baby,
little alcohol baby.
Alcohol baby.
Maybe we could do a little collab with what do you think?
Guinness.
Could they find one with Guinness?
little alcohol baby, also known as a Yankees fan.
Hey. Oh, by the way, all right, let's bring this up then. So you saw in your birthday video, Steve, Stokes was in there twice, right?
Yes.
You saw what he said to you the first time, didn't you?
Yeah. Go Cardinals. They're like fighting words. Well, see, the Cardinals aren't that great anymore, so it used to be that could bother me, but now I'm like, whatever. The Cardinals are there with the Reds. It's kind of like,
just coexist.
Fighting for who knows 4th place. At least we can beat the Pirates, right?
It's the NL Central, man. Anybody can win it, besides the Pirates. But anybody else can win.
Yeah.
Steve, when he walked away from that little video, did you see how proud he was of himself when he said it?
Yeah.
He did.
So I do have a funny story. I was at the other day when I was in Cincinnati, I stopped at Yard House for lunch, and the guy that was behind the bar, I'm talking to him, and we started talking about the Reds a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, man, we got Ellie." I'm like, "Yeah, got Ellie," and he says to me, he goes, "And I sure am glad that Joey's with us again." I said, "Joey?" And he's like, "Yeah, Joey Votto," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I guess apparently this guy thought that Joey Votto was still playing for the Reds. So
Is it the same guy that thought the Bills and the Chiefs were playing?
No. But that conversation reminded me, this is going back probably about 20 years ago. I was at a Reds game, and there were these 2 older guys sitting behind me at the game, and God love them. They were just and they're enjoying the game, and they're like, "Man, it is so great to see old Johnny Bench back there catching." And I'm like, Johnny Bench.
Oh, my God.
I didn't say anything, but I'm like, This is probably, what was it? We're on 2024, so going back to like 2004, and Johnny Bench had retired like 1983, and they're thinking that Johnny Bench is still back there against the catcher. Okay, I'm not gonna ruin your time here at the Reds game. You guys enjoy.
Yeah, let him think what he wants, right?
Yeah,
he got to see Johnny Bench play.
Yeah,
he probably had a Guinness or two before he got in there.
Could be, or probably a Budweiser, back in those days. So,
Ooh, Chris Budweiser.
Yes.
It was probably green.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Jesus.
Now, have you guys ever been to Chicago for St. Patty's Day when they dye the river green?
No, have you seen it?
I mean, it's like it's like an electric green, it is not, there's nothing natural about it. I mean, it is neon, like crazy looking green. I'm sure, I don't know, I don't know, do they still do that, or
yeah, I think they still do
environmentalists might have shut that down?
Pretty sure they still do it every year.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever that ingredient is, it's still. I mean, I'm sure they'll say it's safe. It can't be, can it?
Man, yeah, it doesn't. Looks like nuclear waste.
Yeah.
It's like maybe we shouldn't be doing this. You look over and you see some float fish, or you see some fish floating up, and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we should not do this anymore.
I'm sure it's changed over the years, but yeah, I've never seen it in person. Great town, though.
Yep.
Great town. Yeah. And they do it up for for St. Patty's Day, man. They got parades. They do it up.
Yeah.
Great town. The fans of the baseball team.
You mentioned.
Yeah. Our hockey team's the only one worse than ours, maybe.
Yeah.
By a thread.
One of us.
You mentioned Malort earlier, Stokes, and I'd never heard of it or had it before. Well, it was 2024, but back in the fall, we were doing the podcast at Phala Forest with the Foamy Heads, and Mitch brought out some Malort. We all had a shot. We had Malort, and he had Old Style.
You basically live in Chicago now.
Yeah,
you're official.
Those are the two things. Yeah, we had to win Malort with an Old Style chaser.
Yeah, that was something else.
Oof, rough. That was rough.
That was a variety of alcohol day. I was like, okay, yeah. What else can we bring on here?
That was, and then not long after that we found that Malort spritzer. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Did you find that one? Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. The things I do for my craft. Oh my god! I mean, if you're gonna drink every beer, you got to drink that too. But woof, it was rough.
But yeah, that was.
It's like you and I were talking. It's like you and I, Scott, were talking with the guys from Chicago the other night at the Preds game. Like I was bringing up the Malort. It was like a whole news story. The Malort cicada thing. Like there was some bar in Chicago when the cicadas were a big thing last year. Like they were putting cicadas in Malort and serving it at the bar. Like Malort's bad enough. Do you really need to put cicadas in it? Like,
and people rushing there to get it because they thought it was trendy. Guess what I got? I got a beer with a cicada in it. You won't get this for another 25 years.
The wing fell off in my glass.
Yeah, it's a little garnish. Ugh, I can imagine. Oh. Anyway, anything else, Steve?
No, I think this has been a great St. Patrick's Day episode.
We ultimately, if you've heard this, if you listen back to this, we didn't really have a point other than it's just St. Patrick's Day.
Do you have any limericks for us, Scott, on the way out?
Oh God!
Got any Irish limerick?
God, I wish.
Got any Irish limericks?
Irish facts.
Hang on, because we can edit out this pause here. But let me see. Let's find one here.
I just want to see.
I just want to see Scott do like the old Starburst commercial. Berries and cream, berries and cream. Get Steve to put his hat on and do a dance.
I was gonna say, put Steve's hat on and do the dance.
Let's see. I will tell you this.
Does anybody plan on having Lucky Charms for St. Patrick's Day? Okay, yeah.
With beer.
Breakfast of Champions.
Love it.
I'm sure I'm sure there's a good Lucky Charms beer Chris would enjoy with a couple fruits.
Oh yeah.
A couple of them at least.
I will tell you this, and I didn't know this until actually I was at McNamara's once. You know how they got a stage in there and they do live music and stuff and live Irish music.
Yeah.
You know that song "Whiskey in the Jar"? You know, Metallica covered it, and it was a Thin Lizzy song. That's an old Irish song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did not know that until I heard it. They were singing it one night in there, and I was like, "Why does that sound familiar?" In the Irish dance, and the whole thing was going on. So,
those Irish drinking songs are great.
Yeah, no idea. I was like, oh, now it makes a little more sense, I think. I gotta. Okay, I don't even if there's any of these are any good. Okay, we're just gonna. Here's one. There's a limerick, and I don't even know if it's any good or not. It's called "An Amoeba Named Max."
You got to do it with the accent.
Oh God.
Come on, Scott.
I was gonna say good day, mate. That's not gonna work.
Perfect.
Good day, mate.
Crikey.
Crocodile Toron.
Let me Lucky Charms. Let's see. An amoeba named I can't. Let me Lucky Charms. That's all I know. It's an amoeba named Max and his brother were sharing a drink with each other. In the midst of their quaffing, they split themselves laughing. And each of them now is a mother. What the fuck? Oh, because it's an amoeba. Because it's an amoeba. We're going to cut that out. All right, hang on. All right, amoeba. Okay. God damn it. Okay. I'm cutting that one out completely. All right. All right, mind the gap. There was a young fellow from Mind the gap. There was a young fellow from Belfast that I wanted so badly to tell fast, not to climb up the stair, as the top step was air. And that's why the young fellow fell fast. Ah, fuck, these are fucking stupid.
If you did it with the accent, it would be good.
I know.
Hickory dickory dock.
You just Google like Irish dad jokes.
Yeah. All right, we're doing because it sounds like you already did one.
No, I just asked if that's what you're doing.
Oh no. No.
See if there's like an Irish drinking limerick.
All right, let's
something.
Do that. I tell you what, I do use some
or an Irish toast, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm gonna pull an Irish goodbye and just close this.
There you go.
Irish drinking what like toast? Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Stokes is gone. He pulled an Irish goodbye and just left the podcast.
Irish motherfucker. The cunt. I'm cutting that up. Let's see if any of these are any good. Toastmasters.
They're not.
They're not.
They're not.
May your see, this really needs an accent. May your troubles May your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. It's not fun.
See what happens when we do show prep on the fly?
Yeah.
Scott, are you giving a toast at my funeral? What's going on?
Oh, here's one. It's right to your point. May we all be alive at the same time next year.
There you go.
That's the whole thing. May you live may you live as long as you want and never want to as long as you fuck it. Who cares? A lot of editing towards that.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's just have the luck of the Irish. I'm Irish. I don't know if anybody else is. But...
You can kiss my Blarney Stone. That's how we'll
There is one more thing I want to touch on, and I bring it up because a lot of times we like to talk about community and things in the beer community and stuff, just on the podcast. And so March 21st is World Down Syndrome Day. And the reason I bring it up is because I saw a video that a brewery called Troegs out of Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's Troegs Independent Brewing. And they invited some VIPs from this organization called 321 for Life, who are supporters and of Down syndrome organization. And anyway, on March 21st, there's this whole takeover of the brewery for 321 for Life. Kind of goes in and have a big celebration and stuff for World Down Syndrome Day. So I bring it up as a kind of a thing within the beer community. Breweries helping out and giving back and things like that.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
just thought it was a cool thing for them. Hats off to them. Hats off for 321 for Life for, their organization and doing what they're doing. And it's the second year at that brewery, and just a big shout out to those guys. And look it up. It's really cool. The VIPs went in there and helped did a collaboration with them and made a beer that they're doing, and then they're releasing it and selling it and stuff on March 21st. So anyway, I just thought it was an example of the beer community kind of giving back again. And I don't know Troegs. I just saw it, and I'm a big fan of them.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
cheers. So cheers to those guys. So I just want to end on that.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool.
All right.
Well, on that note, I'm going to tip my cap. I'm not going to put this thing back on. Tip my cap to all of you fine folks. Have a happy St. Patty's Day.
I'm going to go see if we have any Jameis downstairs. I'm going to go see if we have any Jameis downstairs.
It's Jameis. Yeah, it's a mashup.
It sounds like I've had some already.
You got some Jameis Winston?
Look, it's the meds and the beer mixing together.
That's the next Titans quarterback, baby. Little Jameis.
Oh, wow.
We're doing it.
Famous Jameis. Hide your crab legs.
Happy Guinness, everybody.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.